Everybody, live for a gang stalking conversation. So, trying to set up this invitation with the link. Let me see. So, just give me a moment. I'm using my cell phone, so everything is all the texts are smaller than the laptop. Uh, Strange. Here we go. So here's a link. If you want to join me, like always, open discussion. Any targeted individuals want to join in and just share your story, just talk about gang stalking. It's good to learn from each other. So I provided the link. If you want to join in, just click on the link. I don't know how the volume is because I'm outside. Normally I do the live stream inside, but today I'm outside. So if the volume's really low, just let me know. Um, I provided the link. Click on that. I'll be right back. So just any TIs that wants to join in, you're welcome to join. Give me a few minutes. All right, guys, I'm back. So anybody wants to join in? Let me see. Well, no one wants to join in, huh? All right, well, that's fine. Maybe later. Um, so I was following a content creator. I wanted to get my other phone because I've forgotten her user ID, but she makes a bunch of videos about her going to the police station. And when she's at the police station, she would go on and off about how her life is in danger and that she would file police report, but the police wouldn't do anything for her. And she wanted to go somewhere safe. She wanted the police to find a safe place for her to go. And the police would tell her, we have nowhere for you to go. And she wants to be in the witness protection program because she's going on and on about how the police, the FBI, they're all in on it, and how the bus drivers are in on it, how the bus driver almost ran her over. I mean, she just had a huge list of personal problems. And, as I'm watching it, I try to feel, put myself in her shoes. What would it be like for a TI to go through situations like that? But as I keep listening to it, she just kept going on and on over the same thing. Like she wouldn't let it go. When the fact, the fact was, she kept saying her life is in danger. And she's been saying that for months, telling the police this. But she is still there. Like nothing happened to her. But the entire time, she kept talking about how her life is in danger and she needs to be in uh, protective service. And that is a great example of the mind in a state of trance. And the mind in a state of trance, it's very subtle. It's so subtle that initially when I was going through it, I would just do my own thing throughout the day, not even realize my mind was in a state of trance. And usually when that happens, I lost sense of reality. Like I'm functioning, driving to work, doing what I need to do at work, eating lunch, doing all that stuff, chit chatting with people, kind of like small chit chat, driving home, going through the routine, like a motion type of thing. Like it's something that I learned to do on a day-to-day basis. But the finer details throughout the day, I would forget. And that's because my mind was in a state of trance. And when I'm in a state of trance, I'll tell you how you can tell. I recognized my mind was being very creative with the thoughts. The thoughts that I was generating in my mind were extremely creative. I would imagine, for instance, okay, I like watching NBA. So when the NBA is on, I would imagine the replay, in my head, or sometimes I'll fantasize about, well, at my age, I guess I could still, have a potential to join the NBA, right? But what can I do, right? I can't dunk. So I guess I can practice 1,000 3-pointers every day. Do that for like a year, maybe go try out for a team. I don't know, right? Get a high percentage of 3-pointer made. So that's how my mind tell myself. But then it's like a fantasy, because I know I'm not going to go do that. I have no time to go shoot 1,000 3-pointers every day for a whole year. So it's like, in my mind, it's like a fantasy, but it's fun to think about. But the fact is, one thing will lead to another. These thoughts will just keep going, building on top of each other. And next thing you know, 45 minutes are gone. But during that 45 minutes, I was still, driving or whatever, doing stuff here and there. But the stuff I was doing in fine details, I wouldn't remember. And that's how it goes with, sometimes I catch myself, oh, where did the TV remote go? I was just holding on to it. And that's because I would hold on to the remote and I would be doing other stuff. And the lower voice to skull would tell me to put the remote down as I'm doing things. So I would put the remote down. But that whole action of putting the remote down are the finer details that I would forget. You see what I'm saying? So I'm holding on to the remote. I'm walking around. Somehow I put the remote down on top of the clothing or on top of um the cushions or in the bookshelf, one of the shelves in the bookshelves. But that whole action of putting my remote there, I wasn't paying attention. So I just did something without paying attention to it. And then later on, I'll be like, where's the remote? Where did the remote go? You see that whole idea, how it transitioned? And that's also what happens to a lot of people out there who talks about, oh, their keys are missing, or this is missing, or that's missing. That's because TIs are in a state of trance. And For the TIs that think a lot in their mind, if you think a lot throughout the day, you and then months and months and years keep thinking about random stuff as a TI, those thoughts gonna make you kind of lost sense of reality. It's almost like everything in the mind is could be because there's no limits in the mind. Your mind can think about whatever you like. You can think about yourself going through a wall like a X-Men character if you want to. Like you can teleport if you want to. You can teleport to anywhere in the world inside your mind. So when the TI keep thinking throughout the day and the stuff that the TI are thinking about are so extreme, it's like training your own mind to be living in a fantasy. And the way that I realized what helped me to come back to this reality is watching the news. So when I watch local news, it wakes me up. It always wakes me up. It brings me back into reality, brings me back into the sense of what's going on around me and how life is a struggle and how life is it's not easy. I mean, I guess for some people it's easy, but overall, life requires work. There's a lot involved in life, responsibility and stuff like that. And a TI that just, from my perspective, when I was kind of staying away from people by myself, I went through a phase of just chilling in my room all the time. Like throughout the day, I would be in my room, close the door. I went through that phase. And that was the phase that my mind was just thinking about the most extreme things. And also, that was also the moment when evil came into my life. And what I mean by evil is when I was by myself, I would watch a lot of Netflix, YouTube videos, research a lot of random things online, uh, pornography, stuff like that. And that's when I noticed the evil came into my mind was these evil thoughts. Okay. Evil thoughts as in when if you're watching a movie, a horror film, I would imagine you can identify what are evil acts and what are not, right? Which action, or even an action film, you can tell this action, this what happened in this scene is considered evil. What happened in this scene is considered evil. Like you can identify which scenes are evil. So imagine those acts in a movie, like it were coming into my mind, like, and then where I'm just part of the character in those acts, like. So just I'm not gonna go into detail what these evil thoughts are, but basically, I just want to say initially I didn't recognize it. Thought I would think, oh, those thoughts are kind of cool, so I would keep expanding on those thoughts. Um, keep thinking about those thoughts, like maybe like a heist, what I mean, like a Ocean's 11, 12, 13, those type of movies, like, and my mind would start going off on these heists, but I'll be partaking in it, not even thinking about if that really happened, what are the consequences? But that's how evil thoughts enter my mind, and that's only a starting point. And from that moment, it could throughout time, okay? It takes time, maybe 6 months down the line, if I continue thinking that way, it could get darker and darker and darker. And these thoughts did get darker. And I had no idea that at the time I didn't think those thoughts were that serious. But now thinking back on it, now knowing what I know, that's how evil came into my life. And that's coming from these gang stalkers. Now, I know my gang stalkers are garbage. They're dumpster stains. And your gang stalkers are dumpster stains. And they're garbage as well. And these evil thoughts came from the gang stalkers, but at the time I didn't know my gang stalkers was doing this. I didn't even know what gang stalking was. And only until I moved to this property right here, this very property, that's when I started receiving voice to skull about 2, 3 months after living here. But initially, that first 2, 3 months, I thought it was my neighbors coming over to my property and spying on me on the other side of my windows and all this stuff. But I could never ever catch anyone on film, on camera. And then the voice to skull would come in. And once a voice to skull come in, that was actually, in a way, it was really bad for me because I didn't know how to handle it. But it was also like an upgrade in my consciousness, like a leveling up, because through voice to skull and by me challenging it with the entities and the gang stalkers, using voice to skull, talking back to them, um, that's how I can eventually came to a point of, after I was, defending myself against them. So when I was defending myself, something happened to me. It's almost like something righteous came into my body, something that's like a greater force of power enter into my body, into my spirit, to give me the courage to battle these gang stalkers. And this is the courage that a lot of TIs are missing in the community. And it's quite easy to find these TIs because I can easily find them if I just type in target individual and I'll filter it to upload dates, to the most current uploads. I can just go down the list and find the TIs that are missing that courage, because they will be, the way they behave are in fear. And that's why I always talk about the core principle is the no fear mentality. And that is so important in as a targeted individual against these gang stalkers. And the TIs that don't have the courage, you'll notice the videos they upload, they would tend to complain a lot. They would tend to, they'll, in a way, they want to identify the gang stalking in their mind is correct. But at the same time, the behavior is also in fear. And for me, based on my experience, when all of a sudden I got the courage to go against these gang stalkers, everything just turned around for me. Like I was no longer stressed out about wondering what they are, who they are, or how they're doing it. Majority of the battle was just V2K. And if you have the no fear mentality and you understand the battles in V2K, then the way you look at the world, the way you look at everything around you, it's not going to be like, oh, wow, the gang stalkers are spying on me, It's no longer going to be like that. And a lot of TIs out there don't understand this concept. And going back to what I was saying about that lady uploading a bunch of videos of her going to the police, talking about how her life is in danger and how she needs to be in protective service. She's been doing that for months and months and months based on her videos. And the police won't acknowledge her because she just kept rambling on with no evidence to show the police. But she kept saying her life is in danger. But then that's all these months she is still alive. Like nothing happened to her. She's going to the police station, going back home, going to work, doing whatever she's doing, going to sleep, waking up, doing whatever she's doing, and then going back to the police station, talking about how her life's in danger, and going back home, eating food, going to work, doing whatever, going back to sleep. Like nothing happened to her. But her mind's already bought into the whole idea that her life is in danger. And I understand because of gang stalking, because she doesn't know who these gang stalkers are, but she can kind of have an idea. She wants to pinpoint on a person, on an entity, on a government, on an agency. But in reality, she doesn't know who they are. And it is stressful. I totally understand. It's very stressful. But at some point, she's going to need to realized that the best way to go about it is to just watch the local news, take in advice from other TIs, and take her focus off of it. See, because I'm trying to explain in a way where in her shoes, which is difficult because it's hard. I can't imagine her getting out of it if she doesn't expand her education on gang stalking. Because I'm trying to explain, I'm like, okay, what can she do? Because I know what to do, but for her, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. What can she really do? And she have to expand her education on gang stalking. She have to. Otherwise, she really is kind of stuck. Because if she won't take in advice from other TIs, a whole broad range of advice from other TIs, bring herself back into reality by watching the local news. And I mean, those are already two big steps because her mind is so consumed by the thought that she's in danger, but yet nothing's happening to her on a daily basis. I really wouldn't know how to get her out of it unless there's some type of divine intervention. Usually amongst TIs is getting arrested by police or some type of encounter that are extreme to kind of wake them up. Or somehow convince her mind, just not give a damn anymore, just don't care no more. Or keeping her calm and just, I guess, learn from other TI's experience and somehow, hopefully, that she'll connect some dots. But to me, there are there's TIs out there in the community that won't make it. I mean, sad to say, but there are TIs that just won't make it. Either make it or break it. And the TIs that are breaking, you can kind of tell they're breaking. I mean, they tend to be the types that actually whines and complain a lot. They're the type of TI that the way they project things is they like to complain a lot about what's going on. And in my experience, when I try helping them with a positive, outlook on certain things or certain solution to that specific problem, they tend to answer me with an excuse. And once they do that, they'll just kind of stop. Like, see, the way this should work is a TI brings up a problem. I provide a solution or a solution to the problem. The TI give an excuse about the solution, but then the TI don't provide a better solution. So it's like if I'm providing a solution, the TI should either agree or disagree. If the TI disagrees, then the TI needs to provide a better solution. Then I can be like, okay, yeah, that's a better idea. Yeah, you're right, that's a better idea. But if I provide a solution and that TI is giving me an excuse, but yet don't provide a better solution, then that is the type of behavior for a TI that are most likely is going to break. Because it's just not the mentality to go about this whole situation. And a lot of TIs are quite sensitive when it comes to stuff like this. There is really no babying what's going on. Like many of you know about Nerve Gorilla, and he's straightforward. He's kind of, some of you say he's a mean person. He talks a lot of trash. I call him a bully, but I noticed he's kind of been doing better since I made that video, and he's got his own way of handling things. He's very blunt and straightforward, and in a way, it is good for the TI community in a way, because I wouldn't talk like him, but I do see his approach as no BS type of mentality, and he is right on many things. For one, I know. Well, for one, okay, I have to say he always talks about there's no credible evidence of gang stalking. And so he wants convincing evidence, which I totally understand. And the community is missing that. But okay, I know gang stalking is real. And the TI community know it's real. So for me, it's good to hear that from Nerve Gorilla because that will make me actually want to work better on the information that I'm collecting. And it also helped me see things as it's not just proving to the TI community or showing the TI community who the gang stalkers are, but I also need to convince the scientific community. Because convincing the TI community, okay, that's good. But right now, the TI community, it looks so bad amongst all the other professionals out there. So just us TIs knowing who the gang stalkers are is not going to really help us through the eyes of the rest of the world. So by having Nerve Gorilla talking about, evidence, convincing evidence, peer review, um, be able to do the research so other people can do it on their own and test the theory. So by Nerve Gorilla keep pushing that whole agenda, it's actually good because he's right. That's really is how the world see things, and gotta play by the game, because life is like a game. You can look at it that way. I mean, either play along with the game or you're gonna get left behind. And gang stalking is like a game within a game. And STIs have to realize that. And we're gonna have to still play the actual game, but then adjust ourselves to the gang stalking game. Does that make any sense? So it's like there's no whining or complaining about this. It sucks. Gang stalking sucks. I don't like my gang stalkers. If they were here, I would start beating their face. But there's no face to beat. And well, no physical, actual like hard face to beat. And I would do the same for your gang stalkers. I would beat your gang stalkers for you. And you would beat my gang stalkers for me. I'll spit on your gang stalkers, you can spit on my gang stalkers. I'll slap your gang stalkers, you can slap my gang stalkers. Like you get the whole point. And us TIs, we have to stop being so sensitive about what's going on. And it's okay for others to criticize us because at the end of the day, if we can't handle it, we're just a bunch of, we're not up to par in society. Like if we want people to take us seriously, we're going to have to be able to handle it. And the whole approach needs to change. Obviously, what's going on right now with all these online evidence is it's just, they're not convincing evidence. With that being said, gang stalking is real. So people need to start having a new approach, a new strategy, new method on going about this, so we don't seem so crazy amongst the professionals, other people in the world. Because like STIs, I would say, we're probably about 10-15% of the people in the world are true TIs. I mean, I don't have any surveys or on data, but I read some stuff here and there, like I feel comfortable we're about 10-15% of the people in the world. And they want to call us crazy, like they want to label us as schizo. But but they're ignoring the fact that when there's 10 and 15% or so people, probably more, I would say, in the world that are like that, are experiencing this, something is going on. It's easy to label someone as schizo because these medical people labeling people as schizos, they're not even schizo. They've never been schizo before, so they don't even know what schizo is. They just learn it from a book that's written by somebody else, but none of them have experienced any of this. So they're just they they went to school, they learn about the behaviors, but they never experience. Okay, they learn everything they learn is the behavior of the so-called patients. They listen to the patients, but then they never actually experience what the patients are going through. So in a way, they don't even qualify to diagnose people. They're not. And when there's so many people in the world going through this, it's almost like brain dead to just say these people are just schizo. What is schizo? I mean, it's an experience that people are going through. It's a real experience that people are going through. But yet the ones that aren't experienced, never gone through it, or the one with the license to label the people going through it as crazy. I mean, the whole concept itself is just it doesn't make sense. And when there's so many people going through this, all the generations, something is there. And that's why when I make my videos, I try to be as sane and calm as possible because when I first started this channel, I know how important it is for me to make my videos in a way where I can be credible in this community. I need to be credible because my plan is I plan on doing more than this, and I know I need to be credible. And I know in my videos, I need to maintain a uh, certain, like I have to maintain within what I need to tell people and what I need to explain to people and what I'm trying to show people. I I know some TIs out there just tend to go all over the place in the video. They'll talk about this, that, and this. Like, there's a reason why my videos I kind of just go try to stay on this path. It's because I need to be credible. And so far, I hope I'm doing a good job on that or a decent job. If you guys can give me some feedback on that, because I I don't want to be seen as one of those TIs with just talking about whatever. Because this whole gang stalking thing is not just whatever. It's real and something is going on, to us. We're experiencing it. And the ones that aren't experiencing it, they just wouldn't know. They would never know. And I know how TIs feel when they are told by their family that, oh, you should go see a doctor, you get on some medications. Right away, I already know what other TIs are thinking about because I went through that. I would, in my mind, first thing come to my mind is how would a doctor know or understand what I'm going through? If I tell a doctor, they just gonna give me the usual routine, most likely write me some prescriptions. And yeah, I heard that there are prescriptions out there that will eliminate or minimize or the voice to skull. But I have never taken those medications. And the voice to skull, I kept under control because I understand the no fear mentality. And the TIs out there receiving voice to skull, if you don't understand no fear mentality, you're most likely going to be the one that are going to get the prescription. I hope not, because once you get prescription for what's going on, you're going to lose your credibility. And you must really handle yourself as a TI. And the core principle, it's no fear mentality. Once you understand that, no gang stalkers can penetrate you. Your mind, that is. You have to be the most badass spirit inside yourself, and no other spirits can come bully you. And the biggest battle is when you're going to sleep. See, when you go to sleep in your dreams, that's when they really mess with you. And the only way to defend that is by not having fear when you're awake. Because when you're awake and you don't have fear, you're naturally becoming this really strong spirit. So when you go to sleep, that strong spirit will behave like when you're awake. Does that make any sense? Well, it's getting dark and well, no one wanted to join, huh? So, well, maybe next time. Anybody wants to join in on this? Let me post the link again. It is getting dark out here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, you guys can see the link, right? So yeah, join on this chat if any of you want to join. And oh, I've been watching these magics, and I really want to make a video on the magic on these magician. Any of you ever heard the magician Shin Lim? He's like he's in Vegas. He uh he was a winner of America Got Talent season 15 or something, and he was doing some dark magic on live TV. But I'm gonna make a video about him. I'm gonna show you guys because this whole gang stalking thing that I learned is there's so much going on around us that our eyes just don't see. But our cell phone cameras can pick it up though. And things are happening around us, especially around TIs. Like us TIs, there's a lot more stuff going on around us that our eyes just don't see. So if you're a TI and you're still stuck worrying about people around you or the gang stalkers or whatever around you, then you're not going to really pay attention to these other things. But for me, like living out here, I by chance, I'd start discovering these things and just start finding out more and more. So, and these magic, all right, the guy Shin Lim, he's one of those guys out there that are really being helped by these forces, these entities, and I'm going to show you how. I'm not how he does it, but I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, because these magics that he's doing is just you can't explain them. It's not possibly explainable, but he did it on live national TV, and that's what got him, the first place. He won the show. It's because it just stuns the audience and just cannot be explained. But I have my theory of explaining it, how he did it. He didn't do it by himself. He was helped by another force, outside forces that the majority of people just don't even realize are there. They don't even know that they're there, but they are around us. And my question is, well, it's just a question for myself. I don't expect to get an answer, but maybe. My question is, why would these entities pick him and why would they offer to help him? That's the question I'm kind of stuck on right now. And these entities, they're also the same entity that would help David Blaine. David Blaine, he was doing some extreme magic. But I noticed those entities stopped helping him and that's when he kind of was able to save his career by doing more stunts. If you look at some of his most recent performance, they are more stunts instead of magic. They're not like putting his hand through a glass window and pulling a piece of jewelry out. You know, it's not like magic like that anymore. Just him doing stunts, like holding his breath, standing like or inside, standing on a pole, or staying inside of a box for 7 days. You know, those are more like stunts. Or getting on tie onto an air balloon and go up into the sky. I mean, those are stunts. They're not real magic like he was doing. So based on what I understand, at some point these entities are going to stop helping the magician. So I predict the same is going to happen to this Shin Shin Lim guy. But yeah, right now he's in Vegas, and he's like, they're saying he's like one of the best magician in the world right now. So I'm gonna make a video on him, and I think it'll be very interesting. So for UTIs, I mean, they're pay close attention to your surroundings. Even right now, as you're watching this, your gang stalkers are next to you. I've been telling you guys this. They're next to you. My gang stalkers are next to me. And just remember, no fear. All right, guys. Shimon signing out.